Architecture has an impact on people because they engage with it every day. It's not like, an art piece that could be maybe never seen or in a gallery somewhere. It really is something that you engage with. Even if you don't live in a place, you walk by it, it's in your environment. It draws people to a place, it brings them together. How can you not just do the project itself, but think about all the parts around it that will help to make it more impactful? I'm Jeanne Gang. I lead Studio Gang, and we're based in Chicago, but we also have offices in New York, San Francisco, and Paris. So I think the practice is really, I use the word actionable idealism. It's because we are idealistic and we want to make a difference. The actionable part is really just about, like, how can we make each project make a difference? Our work that touches on environment, it might be bringing more biodiversity into cities, building with zero carbon. How do buildings use hybrid programs or reach groups that maybe normally wouldn't visit a building? And then how do we make life better? How do we make relationships stronger between people in this kind of polarized times? Architecture needs to be innovative, but it also needs to look back at things that we might have already known in the past and bring them forward. When I first started working in Chicago, this river seemed like this obvious piece right in the middle of Chicago that wasn't being fully appreciated and it wasn't rising to its ecological value. And so we at Studio Gang, we used our talents of visualizing things and researching things and interviewing people to create a book about this river. And it was all geared toward moving the needle on some legislation that would, if enacted, would help improve the water quality. After the book, we ended up doing a boathouse to give access for rowing and activities, and other architects did projects along the river. One of the things we discovered was to give people access to this river would make them, care more about it. Because I'm thinking a lot about reducing embodied carbon, of course that turns you to bio-based materials or wood construction. And wood has some great qualities in some projects, like in the Arcus Center for Social Justice Leadership. We use it like in its compressive quality, almost like in a brick wall. It's a cordwood masonry wall. In other projects, we use it for its tensile strength, like in the Writers' Theater. It's used to hang like a walkway around the lobby of a theater. So it's so thin because it's being used in tension, and it's a specific Port Orford cedar, which is just great in tension. Grafting is a horticultural or agricultural practice that adds capacity onto existing plants. So, if you think about any fruit trees or even grapes for that matter, these days everything is really coming from an existing rootstock that has grafts added onto it. It really inspired me to think about how could we bring that sensibility to architecture in terms of adding on to existing buildings. I think what makes a successful graft in architecture is really, allowing the old to live, and to be living through this new addition. The flow has to happen, the movement of people throughout that building. There has to be very precise and strong connections between the old and new. And I think that's the precise power of this idea of grafting, is you want it to live on, so you have to make some adjustments and not just preserving it in place so that it can live. Appreciating the old and the new.